I feel so alone, so empty, were the words a new client of mine said to me in our very first session. There's nobody I can trust, nobody who really listens to me, nobody who asks how I'm doing, nobody with who I can just be myself. I'm having such a tough time and nobody cares. I feel so lonely, so invisible to others. I'm so lonely it hurts. The client was a 24-year-old woman named Chloe. Of course, I changed her name and some other details in order to protect her privacy. This video is a case study of loneliness. I will share my client's experiences with loneliness with you. I'm very lucky that she kindly gave me her permission to share her story. Through her story, we will bust the most common myths about loneliness. These myths can be very damaging. I will also share with you what Chloe did in order to stop being lonely. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Katja, I'm a psychologist and psychotherapist from Slovenia, where I help clients skyrocket their self-esteem. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications. So, as I've said, Chloe was a 24-year-old woman. She was a young mother to a 10-month-old baby girl. She has been dating her 35-year-old boyfriend for 6 months when they realized she was pregnant. Even though their relationship didn't start out as serious, Chloe quickly moved in with her boyfriend and they both did their very best to raise their daughter, who they loved dearly. Chloe entered therapy because of intense feelings of loneliness. We soon ruled out postpartum depression. She was asking herself, what's wrong with me? I should be happy. When I think about my life, everything looks fine, but it's not. I don't understand why I feel this way. I feel so ashamed to be feeling this way. And to even be saying it out loud. But I just feel so lonely. Is something wrong with me? Am I just weird? No, Chloe wasn't weird for feeling lonely. And neither are you. Feeling lonely is way more common than you think. Research shows that 46% of Americans sometimes or often feel lonely. And 47% feel left out. That's huge. That's almost half. And anybody can feel lonely. No matter your gender, age, appearance, yes, even attractive people can feel lonely as well. No matter your education level, income, race, sexual orientation, and so on. Anybody can feel lonely. Chloe found it really hard to admit that she was feeling lonely. And many lonely people have intense feelings of shame. They feel like there's something wrong with them for feeling this way, which is not true. Feeling lonely doesn't mean anything bad about you. Unfortunately, because of shame, not many people muster the courage to talk about their loneliness. By the way, the fact that you are watching this video shows that you are courageous. You are brave enough to think about yourself, to explore your feelings, and to face the parts of yourselves you'd rather not have. So, way to go, you're doing a great job. Later in the session, Chloe said, the thing that's most bizarre about all of this is the fact that I actually do have people in my life that care about me. I know my boyfriend cares about me. I know my parents try their best in their own way. I even have a few friends that I was very close to before becoming a mom. But I have nobody I can really talk to. My boyfriend works all day, and when he comes home, everything revolves around our baby daughter and household chores. We are both exhausted and we often end up fighting. And I'm not really close to my parents. And my friends simply don't understand. They're young, they want to have fun, talk about hooking up, they're spending endless hours drinking coffee and smoking. I get them, I really do, I was one of them. I know that they can't really understand what I'm going through, but it's still hard that they don't even try. They don't acknowledge that my situation has changed, that I've changed. They don't understand that I can't go out partying with them anymore. They don't understand that I often have nobody to babysit my daughter, and so I have to take her with me when we meet for coffee. And that, of course, my attention will be on her as well. They never ask how my baby daughter is doing. When she was sick and had a fever for the first time, and it was really hard for me, not one of my friends called to see how we were doing, even though they knew she was sick. I just feel so alone. I just want someone who I can talk to, someone who would listen to me, with who I could just be myself. When we think about loneliness, we typically think about being alone. But that's often not the case. You can be alone without feeling lonely. And you can be in a crowd and feel lonely. Chloe said, I opened up to a relative of mine and I confessed that I was feeling lonely. And she said, you? Lonely, but you're in a relationship. Yes, you can feel lonely even if you are in a relationship. You can be married and feel lonely. It's true that statistically speaking, married people are less often lonely. But that doesn't mean that marriage will automatically protect you against loneliness. I've treated so many people who were married and saw their spouse every day and still felt lonely. So you can feel lonely in relationships. You can also feel lonely even if you're popular and surrounded with people. It's not the quantity of the relationships, but the quality. It's how connected you feel with someone. I asked Chloe how does she cope with loneliness, and she said, truthfully, not good. I just stuff myself full of sugar. When I feel bad, I eat cookies, chocolate, ice cream, and all sorts of candy. I mostly eat candy in the middle of the day when my boyfriend is at work. But sometimes I eat in the middle of the night as well. I know it's not good for me, but I just need a pick-me-up. I always regret it afterwards. And I know I'm gaining weight, but I just can't help myself. Research shows that lonely people have trouble with self-regulation. Roy Baumeister, a social psychologist, published his research where he studied loneliness and self-regulation. In his experiment, he discovered that those people who were feeling lonely and excluded ate almost twice as many cookies on average as opposed to the people who didn't feel lonely. Those who were lonely also rated the cookies as better tasting than non-lonely ones. So loneliness affects the decisions we make. And unfortunately, food is not the only way people try to escape their feelings of loneliness. Some do it by abusing alcohol, drugs, engaging in reckless sex, poker, and so on. And the truth is, it's harder to be self-disciplined when feeling lonely. A lonely person knows full well that it's not good to stuff themselves with ice cream, to be snappy at coworkers, or to sleep with a married boss, or to yell at the kids for spilling something. The person may know that this is wrong, but loneliness makes it that much harder to do the right thing. Research also suggests that loneliness poses serious threats to well-being as well as long-term physical health. Loneliness is likely to increase your risk of death by 26%. Loneliness, living alone, and poor social connections are as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness is worse for you than obesity. And loneliness and social isolation put individuals at greater risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Not exactly comforting, right? But luckily, this doesn't need to be the end of the story. Loneliness is not something you're stuck with. Loneliness is something you can change. Sure, it may not be as easy as we see it in the movies, where the main character gets a haircut, moves some furniture around, and applies for a dating service, while an upbeat music plays in the background. In reality, it takes a bit longer and it takes more effort. But the effect is also real, and it can make your life so beautiful. So, what happened to Chloe? We had two main focuses. The first one was to improve and deepen her relationship with her boyfriend. This was something Chloe really wanted. During our sessions, we explored how she and her boyfriend can spend more time together. We tried different techniques for improving their relationship and for building a real connection and emotional intimacy. And our second focus was to build a friendship that would make Chloe feel accepted and loved. During our sessions, we discovered that Chloe had no trouble starting a conversation with someone she didn't know. For example, a fellow mother on a playground. But she did have trouble transforming a new acquaintance into a friendship. She often worried that she came off as too pushy or needy. She also had trouble showing her vulnerability. She could talk with ease about topics such as her baby's sleeping habits or eating habits, about politics, about TV shows, books, trivial stuff, and so on. But she found it really hard to talk about more personal stuff, about stuff that made her feel vulnerable. For example, about how lonely she felt, about what makes her sad, about the time she was so exhausted and just lost it, and she grabbed her daughter's hand forcibly. And then, having realized what she's done, weeping uncontrollably and feeling like the worst mother in the world. Of course, nobody finds it easy to talk about things that make us vulnerable. It's not easy to show the dark parts of ourselves to others. The parts of ourselves that even we have trouble coming to terms with. But sharing the good as well as the bad is what makes us connected to others. That's what makes the relationship so beautiful. When we start sharing and the other person shares as well, we realize that in fact we are not alone. And this is something we all need, the knowing that we are not alone. That we are not alone in our tears, that we are not alone in our stress, our worries, our despair, and that we are also not alone in our joy, or love, or in our excitement. That we are not alone in being human. We are not alone. You are not alone. Let me share with you Chloe's words on our last session. I cannot thank you enough for everything you did for me. I feel like a different person. I used to think I was awful for feeling this way, that I should be grateful and that there was something wrong with me. I remember how relieved I felt when you said that my feelings were natural. And I'm not lonely anymore. I feel connected to my boyfriend. And yeah, sure, there are some topics that he's more interested in than I, and vice versa. But even so, we now both make an effort to really listen to each other. I feel heard. I don't feel alone anymore. And if I have a bad day, we just talk it over. I know now that I can trust him. Our relationship is 1,000,000 times better. I'm also so thankful for my new friend, who is a mom to 2 young kids. I love the fact that I can talk to someone about the challenges of motherhood, and at the same time we both know that we love our kids more than anything in the world. I love the fact that I can send her a photo of something cute my daughter did. I love the fact that I can be me, and we have a great time together and we stand by each other. I no longer feel like an outsider. I just feel so free. I can finally take the weight off my shoulders and just ask for some kind words and a hug when I need them. Thank you so much for everything you did for me. You saved my world. Did you like this video? Give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. Do you want to learn how to end loneliness, how to have amazing communication skills, and how to skyrocket your self-esteem? Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell. And join my free Facebook group called Skyrocket Your Self-Esteem, where I share tons of useful tricks and strategies for boosting confidence. I hope to see you there.
Thanks again for watching.